I never expected to find out about my wife's affair through our smart doorbell. Isn't technology wonderful? Jessica always told me I was paranoid for installing these security devices around our house. Now I know why. It started last Tuesday when I got a notification on my phone while at work. Motion detected at front door, 2:14 p.m. I almost ignored it like I usually do, but something made me open the alert. There was my wife, stumbling through our front door in the middle of the afternoon, giggling and wrapped in the arms of my best friend Mike. I felt my stomach drop as I watched them kiss passionately right there in our entryway. Mike's hands were all over her as Jessica fumbled with her keys, both of them clearly drunk. The timestamp showed 2:14 p.m., hours before she was supposed to be home from her professional development conference. The worst part? Our 6-year-old daughter Emily was due home from school in less than an hour. Jessica was supposed to pick her up, but here she was, drunk and cheating in the middle of the day. I sat at my desk, hands shaking as I watched the rest of the footage. They disappeared inside, but the indoor cameras I'd installed caught everything. Every disgusting moment of their betrayal, right there on my phone, right there in my house, right there on the couch where we have family movie nights with our daughter. Couldn't breathe. Mike had been my best friend since college. Best man at my wedding. Emily's godfather. We had dinner at his house just last weekend. His wife Amy cooking her famous lasagna while our kids played together in the backyard. All this time, he'd been sleeping with my wife. I somehow made it through the rest of my workday in a daze. Called Emily's school to have them put her on the bus instead of waiting for Jessica. Then I remote accessed our home computer and found hundreds of deleted messages between them going back months. Sexts, nude photos, plans for their meetups. Jessica had been clever about deleting them, but she didn't know about the backup drive I kept. The messages revealed everything. They'd been sleeping together for at least 6 months. Meeting at hotels during Jessica's yoga classes. Sneaking around while I was at work. Even during our family vacation to the beach last month, Jessica had claimed a migraine one afternoon and stayed behind while I took Emily to the boardwalk. Now I knew why. But today they'd gotten sloppy. Too many afternoon margaritas at lunch, based on their slurred conversation in the footage. Too confident that I'd never find out. Too arrogant to think about the cameras I'd installed to keep our family safe. I didn't confront Jessica that evening. I acted completely normal through dinner as she made up lies about her conference. Helped Emily with her homework. Watched TV together as a family like nothing was wrong. All while my mind raced with plans. See, Jessica had always been manipulative. She was gorgeous and she knew it, using her looks to get her way. Back when we were dating, I'd caught her in dozens of little lies, but she always had a way of turning things around on me, making me feel crazy for doubting her, guilting me into apologizing even when I knew she was lying. Not this time. This time I had concrete proof, and I was going to make sure everyone knew exactly what kind of people Jessica and Mike really were. I spent that night methodically gathering evidence while Jessica slept soundly beside me, completely unaware. Downloaded all the security footage. Backed up all the messages and photos. Took screenshots of their deleted conversations. Everything safely stored in multiple places where she couldn't delete it. Then I called my lawyer first thing in the morning. Quietly moved half our savings to a separate account. Contacted a private investigator to document anything else I might have missed. And started putting together a plan that would blow their perfect little world apart. Jessica had no idea what was coming. But she was about to learn that she'd picked the wrong man to betray. The next few days were a masterclass in self-control. I went through the motions of normal life while secretly building my case. Jessica had no idea I'd discovered her betrayal. She was too wrapped up in her own lies to notice anything was wrong. I have another conference next week, she mentioned casually over breakfast. 3 days in Chicago this time. The firm really wants me to build my client network. I watched her lie straight to my face while buttering her toast. According to their messages, she and Mike had booked a luxury hotel suite in Miami. A romantic getaway while his wife thought he was at a business meeting and I was supposed to be watching Emily. That's a lot of conferences lately, I said mildly. Your firm must really be investing in professional development. Jessica's face showed the tiniest flicker of tension before her practiced smile returned. Well, you know how it is in corporate law. Have to keep up with the latest developments. She'd always been an excellent liar. I remembered how smoothly she'd explained away the strange texts I'd found years ago, the suspicious credit card charges, the late nights at work. Every time she'd made me feel guilty for even questioning her. But her perfect facade was about to crack. I'd already set several things in motion. First, I'd hired the best divorce attorney in the city, the same one who'd represented the wife in a recent high-profile divorce case involving another partner at Jessica's firm. He was already drafting papers and building our strategy. Then I contacted a forensic accountant to go through our finances. Sure enough, he found evidence of Jessica using our joint accounts to fund her affair. Hotel rooms, expensive dinners, sexy lingerie that I'd never seen. All carefully disguised as work expenses. The private investigator was documenting their ongoing meetups. Jessica thought she was so clever, but she and Mike had gotten sloppy. Meeting at the same hotels, taking the same routes, creating a pattern that was easy to track and document. Most importantly, I'd been in touch with Amy, Mike's wife. She'd been suspicious for months but, like me, had been gaslit into doubting herself. When I showed her some of the evidence I'd gathered, she broke down crying. "That bastard," she whispered, staring at photos of Mike and Jessica entering a hotel together. "He made me think I was crazy, said I was being paranoid and insecure." We spent hours comparing notes, filling in gaps in the timeline. Amy had access to their phone records, credit card statements, and Mike's email. Together, we were building an airtight case against both of them. "We need to be smart about this," Amy said, wiping her eyes. "They think they're so much smarter than us. Let's prove them wrong." She was right. Jessica and Mike had played us for fools, but they'd underestimated us both. While they planned their romantic Miami getaway, we were planning something very different. The hardest part was maintaining normalcy around Emily. She was too young to understand what was happening, but she was perceptive enough to pick up on tension. I focused on spending quality time with her, knowing her world was about to be turned upside down. "Daddy, why does Mommy have two phones?" she asked innocently one evening while we were playing board games. My head snapped up. "What do you mean, sweetie?" "I saw her put one phone in her gym bag this morning, but her normal phone was on the table. A burner phone, of course." I made a mental note to have the PI look into it. "I'm sure it's just for work," I said calmly, while my mind raced with this new information. "Hey, want to get ice cream after dinner?" Jessica came home late that night, claiming she'd been stuck in depositions. I pretended to be absorbed in my laptop while she showered, but I was actually reviewing the latest footage from her work late evening, showing her and Mike getting handsy in his car before she came inside. "You're working too hard," I said as she got into bed. "Maybe you should take a break from all these conferences." "Don't be silly," she replied, not meeting my eyes. "These are important opportunities. You want me to succeed, don't you?" I watched her roll over and fall asleep, completely untroubled by her web of lies. She honestly thought she was too smart to get caught, that I was too trusting or too stupid to figure it out. She had no idea that in less than a week, her carefully constructed world was going to implode. The Miami trip she was so excited about? She'd find a very different welcome party than the one she was expecting. The week before their planned Miami trip, everything fell into place. Amy and I had coordinated our moves perfectly, while Jessica and Mike remained blissfully unaware in their bubble of deception. "I'm so proud of you for supporting my career," Jessica said Wednesday night, packing her suitcase for her supposed Chicago conference. I watched her carefully fold lingerie I'd never seen before, no doubt purchased for Mike's benefit. Most husbands would be jealous of all these business trips. If she only knew how carefully I was watching her pack that suitcase. Each item she chose was another nail in her coffin of lies. The red lingerie set still had its tags on "purchased last week at a boutique across town," according to my PI's photos. The new bikini she'd bought for their Miami pool time. Even the burner phone she thought she'd hidden so cleverly in a sock. "You know me," I replied, keeping my voice neutral. I trust you completely. She smiled that practiced smile of hers. The one that used to make my heart skip but now just made my stomach turn. That's why our marriage works so well.
No jealousy, no drama.
I nearly laughed at the irony. Drama was coming, all right, just not the kind she was expecting. That night, I noticed her texting under the covers after she thought I was asleep. The soft glow of her phone illuminated her face as she typed away, probably sexting Mike about their upcoming rendezvous. I felt my hands curl into fists but forced myself to stay still. Just 2 more days. The next morning, Amy called Jessica in tears. Her performance was Oscar-worthy. I think Mike's cheating on me, she sobbed into the phone. I found suspicious messages on his phone. I don't know what to do. Jessica, master manipulator that she was, switched immediately into supportive friend mode. Oh honey, I'm sure it's nothing. Mike loves you. He'd never cheat. You're probably just being paranoid. I had to leave the room to keep from throwing something. The sheer audacity of her comforting Mike's wife, knowing she was sleeping with him. It made me sick. Could you come over? Amy pleaded. I really need someone to talk to. Tomorrow afternoon, maybe? Jessica hesitated. She'd been planning to leave for Chicago tomorrow morning, but refusing to comfort her friend would look suspicious. Of course, she said finally. I'll reschedule my early meetings. My flight isn't until evening anyway. As soon as she hung up, she was texting Mike, no doubt warning him about his wife's suspicions. I knew because he called her minutes later, and she took the call in our bathroom with the water running. Classic cheater move. That afternoon, I got Emily settled at my sister's house. Daddy, why can't I stay home while Mommy's at her conference? She asked as I dropped her off. Because Daddy has some important work meetings. I lied, hating that I had to deceive my daughter but knowing it was necessary. You'll have fun with Aunt Katie, and I'll pick you up in a few days. My sister knew something was up. I'd warned her that things were about to get messy with Jessica, but she didn't know details yet. Better that way. Friday morning arrived bright and clear. Jessica kissed me goodbye, wheeling her suitcase to her car. See you Sunday night, honey. Don't forget Emily has ballet tomorrow. Have a safe flight, I replied, watching her drive away. She was heading to Mike's house, not the airport. They planned to drive to Miami together in his car, more intimate than flying, according to their messages. I waited 30 minutes, then drove to Amy's house. Everything was in place. The PI was documenting Jessica's arrival. My lawyer was standing by. And Amy was ready to give the performance of her life. Jessica arrived right on schedule. All fake sympathy and concern for her friend. She probably thought she'd spend an hour consoling Amy, then slip away to begin her romantic getaway with Mike. She had no idea that Mike wasn't waiting for her at his house. He wasn't going to Miami at all. Instead, he was walking into a very different kind of meeting, one that would destroy not just his marriage, but his entire career. I watched through Amy's security cameras as Jessica sat in her living room, performing the role of concerned friend perfectly. She checked her phone repeatedly, probably wondering why Mike hadn't texted to confirm their meetup time. I just don't understand, Amy sobbed, right on cue. We've been having problems, but I never thought Mike would actually cheat. Should I confront him? Jessica shifted uncomfortably on the couch. You shouldn't jump to conclusions without proof. Men can be innocent of things that look suspicious. Her hand crept to her own phone again. Still no message from Mike. That's because Mike was sitting in a conference room at his law firm, facing the managing partners and the firm's ethics committee. In front of them was a thick folder of evidence, proof that he and Jessica had been billing clients for hours they'd spent in hotel rooms together, falsifying timesheets, and using firm resources to conduct their affair. I'd hired a forensic accountant who specialized in law firm billing fraud. He'd found a pattern. Every time Jessica and Mike met for their afternoon rendezvous, they both billed clients for depositions or client meetings that never happened. The firm was already facing potential liability issues with those clients. I found something else, Amy said, pulling out a stack of papers. Credit card statements, hotel charges, restaurant bills when he was supposed to be working late. Jessica's face went slightly pale. The receipts Amy was showing her were exact matches to ones in her own credit card statements. Same hotels, same dates, same charges. I could see her mind racing, trying to figure out if Amy had made the connection. Those could be legitimate business expenses, Jessica said carefully. You know how much client entertainment they do. That's what I thought at first. Amy's voice hardened slightly. But then I found these. She pulled out her phone and started playing a recording. Jessica's blood drained from her face as she heard her own voice, moaning Mike's name, then explicit details about their Miami plans. I put a recording app on his phone weeks ago, Amy said coldly. Caught everything, every conversation, every text, every dirty little detail of your affair. Jessica jumped up from the couch like she'd been electrocuted. Amy, I can explain. Explain what? I asked, walking into the room. Explain how you've been fucking my best friend? Explain how you've been lying to my face for months? Or explain how you were planning to abandon our daughter this weekend for a sex trip to Miami? Jessica's mouth opened and closed like a fish out of water. Her practiced mask of innocence cracked completely as she looked between us in horror. It's not, I didn't. She stammered, backing away. You don't understand. Oh, we understand perfectly. Amy cut in. We understand that you and Mike thought you were so clever, so superior to your stupid, trusting spouses. Well, surprise. We've known everything for weeks. Jessica's face transformed from shock to calculation. I could see her preparing one of her manipulative speeches, ready to twist everything around. But I wasn't giving her the chance. Save your lies, I said, pulling out my phone. Everything's already in motion. Right now, Mike is being confronted with evidence of billing fraud at his firm. That's a career-ending ethics violation. Possibly criminal charges. You can't. Jessica started, but I cut her off. I've already filed for divorce. The papers are being delivered to your office as we speak, along with copies of all our evidence. Every photo, every message, every video of you sneaking around like teenagers. Your boss will love the security footage of you having sex with Mike in the conference room after hours. Jessica's legs gave out and she sank back onto the couch. Her carefully constructed world was crumbling around her. But we weren't done yet. Check your email, Amy said with cold satisfaction. I just BCC'd everyone in our social circle, family, friends, colleagues, with a select collection of screenshots. Nothing explicit, just enough to show what kind of people you really are. No more playing the perfect couple. No more manipulating everyone around you. Jessica frantically pulled out her phone. I watched her face crumple as she saw the email. Saw her social media notifications exploding as people reacted to the news. Saw her realize that her reputation was being destroyed in real time. You've ruined everything, she whispered, tears finally starting to fall. How could you do this to me? I laughed humorlessly. That's rich coming from you. But don't worry. We're just getting started. Jessica's carefully constructed life imploded within hours. The email Amy sent triggered an avalanche of responses. Shocked messages from friends, disgusted reactions from colleagues, angry calls from family members. Her phone buzzed constantly as her perfect facade crumbled in real time. I had to pick up my daughter from ballet, she tried weakly. I wasn't really going to Miami. Emily's at my sister's house. I cut in. I've got screenshots of your hotel reservation. First-class tickets you bought with our joint account. Even the special lingerie you packed, complete with the receipt from last week. She crumpled further into Amy's couch, mascara running down her face. Please, she whispered. We can work this out. I'll do anything. I'll get counseling. Like the marriage counseling you pretended to attend last year? I pulled out more papers. Funny thing, when I checked our credit card statements, you were actually meeting Mike at the Hilton during those therapy sessions. Real classy. Her phone buzzed again. She glanced at it and went even paler. No, she breathed. No. Oh, that must be the email from your firm, Amy said with satisfaction. They're probably not too happy about their rising star attorney falsifying billing records and having sex with a married partner in company offices. Jessica's professional reputation was everything to her. She'd spent years cultivating her image as the brilliant, hard-working lawyer. Now that carefully built career was dissolving in front of her eyes. The ethics committee is reviewing everything, I added. Every falsified timesheet, every client you cheated, every company resource you misused for your affair. Mike's probably being fired as we speak. Right on cue, Jessica's phone lit up with Mike's name. But when she answered, it wasn't the loving conversation she'd been expecting. You ruined me. Mike's voice was loud enough that we could all hear him. They're suspending my license. I'm being reported to the bar association. My career is over and it's your fault. Your fault. Jessica shot back, hysteria creeping into her voice. You were just as involved as me. You planned everything. Don't call me again, Mike snarled. My lawyers will contact you about the ethics investigation. We're done. The call ended abruptly. Jessica stared at her phone in shock, watching as her lover threw her under the bus to save himself. So much for their grand romance. Better check your own email, Amy suggested mildly. I imagine your firm has some questions about those billing records too. Jessica's hands shook as she opened her work email. Her face went from white to gray as she read. Suspended pending investigation, she whispered. Ethics review, possible criminal charges. Immediate return of all firm property. Your office is probably being packed up right now, I said. But don't worry about the evidence, we sent copies of everything to the managing partners. They're particularly interested in the security footage from the conference room. Jessica's phone buzzed again, her mother this time. I could hear the older woman's voice through the speaker, sharp with disappointment and anger. How could you do this? To your husband? To your daughter? We raised you better than this. Mom. Please. Jessica tried, but her mother wasn't finished. Don't mom me. Your father is absolutely disgusted. To think our daughter would behave like this. Would throw away her marriage, risk her career, betray everyone who trusted her. The hits kept coming. Friends texting to say they wanted nothing to do with her. Colleagues distancing themselves from the scandal. Family members expressing their shock and disappointment. Her carefully curated social circle was disintegrating with each notification. I've canceled your credit cards, I informed her as she ended another brutal call. The joint accounts are frozen. The Miami hotel reservation has been canceled, though I did send them evidence of your planned tryst. You're banned from the property now. Where am I supposed to go? She asked numbly. What am I supposed to do? Not my problem, I replied coldly. But I wouldn't go home. The locks have been changed, and there's a security team waiting. They have copies of the evidence too, in case you try to play victim. I've already talked to all our friends, Amy added. Everyone knows what you did. No one's going to take you in. No one's going to believe your lies anymore. Jessica's phone lit up one final time. Her face crumpled completely as she read the message. The firm, she choked out. They're filing an ethics complaint. My license, my career. I stood up, ready to leave her sitting there in the wreckage of her choices. You did this to yourself, I said quietly. You and Mike thought you were so clever, so superior to everyone else. Thought you'd never face any consequences. Well, here they are. Enjoy. I walked out of Amy's house into the bright afternoon sunlight, leaving my wife sobbing on the couch. Her perfect life was in shambles. Her lover had abandoned her. Her career was potentially over. Her reputation was destroyed, and her marriage was finished. She'd lost everything, and I didn't feel an ounce of regret. Thank you for listening the story to the end. Write your thoughts about it in the comments and do not forget to subscribe. See you in the next videos.